Hey everybody, and welcome back to part 4 of Seasons How-To Tips and Tricks Guide. So, today we're going to talk about grass and grass work. But before we do that, I want to talk about one little thing related to part 3 that I kind of grazed over but didn't really specifically talk about, and that is the growth stages in planting. Your crops will only advance growth stages after a seasonal transition. So it's really difficult, and one reason it's really bad to demonstrate with 3-day seasons is every day is a new seasonal transition, so every day you could have a different growth stage. But if you play with, let's say, 9-day seasons where you have 3 days for each transition, 3 days for early spring, 3 days for mid-spring, and 3 days for late spring, then it's going to look a little bit different. You may have growth on day 4 of spring, which is the first day of mid-spring, but you won't see any more growth possibly until day 6, which would be the first day of late spring, and any growth after that would not happen until day 1 of early summer, and so forth. So that's something to keep in mind, is that you're not going to necessarily transition growth stages every game day. You're going to transition growth stages every seasonal transition. It just so happens that with 3-day seasons, you have that happen every game day. So today we're going to talk about grass and grass work. Here we are back on our map. It's first day of early spring, and we've done some field prep. We've bought field 25 and we've planted it in grass. As you can see here, we have grass, we have 0 growth, 100% fertilization. So we went ahead and plowed this up, fertilized it, cultivated it, fertilized it, and then seeded it with grass and fertilized it after that. Here you can see we have what I call map grass, also referred to as giant's grass, here on the outside of the field, and it is in a harvested state. There is 0 growth here. Tried to mow this, you would get absolutely nothing. That is how grass appears from the first day of winter until probably mid-spring. At the mid-spring point is when you can first mow grass. You're not going to get a lot of yield off of it, but you can mow some of it. So that's something very important to think about, is for your cows, you need to feed them grass. Well, over winter and the first part of spring, you're not going to be able to, because you're not going to have any grass saved up to mow. You may think to yourself, well, I'll just bale a bunch of grass bales and stockpile them. Well, that's not going to work for you either, because with seasons, grass rots after 2 game days. So any grass bale that you bale up, 2 days later, poof, it's gone. So you can't do that. There's no way of storing grass outside of a hayloft placeable, or if you happen to have a map that allows you to put grass in a silo, which to some degree is not overly realistic, because you can't store wet grass. It just won't happen. So we're going to go ahead and advance the clock into game day 2. We're going to alt in. And now remember, we're not really just advancing one game day, we're advancing a whole seasonal transition. Okay? So if we played with 9-day seasons, we would have to advance 3 game days before we would see any of this happen. If we played 12-day seasons, we would have to advance 4 game days. We'd have to get to the first day of mid-spring before we would see this growth. Okay, so here we are. We have some growth here on the giant's grass. We have 67% growth. Over here we have a lower growth state of 33% growth. Okay, so we can now mow if we wanted to. We're going to go ahead and mow a little bit of this grass just to demonstrate it. And there's a reason I'm using this side mower as opposed to the lily mowers that are in front there. We're going to mow just a little bit. I'm going to let that sit there. So we've got here, this will show us anything. Grass, okay, it's down to 33% after we mowed it. All right, so we can see we have grass here on the ground. We're going to do nothing with it, okay? We're going to basically simulate leaving it on the ground overnight, okay? Advance time. We did have a rain cycle there, so the rain will also affect our grass. And watch and behold what happens. Where did the grass go? It literally just vanished in front of our eyes. Well, that is because if you leave grass on the ground, there's a little bit of grass left. If you leave grass on the ground, you will lose one layer of grass overnight. Okay? Now that is why I used this mower. This mower does not windrow. It just lays it flat on the ground. I had this happen when I was doing the Old Guy Farmer single player challenge. We were doing grass work. Actually, we were doing hay. And I was tedding hay and I was trying to get it baled up. And midnight happened. And all of a sudden, the hay in the field just vanished. Everything that wasn't baled just vanished right in front of my eyes. And I was like, what? So that is something to know. Do not, under any circumstance, leave any type of windrow on the ground overnight. We'll lose some of it. So we are now into late spring, and we have grass growth still at 67% on the Giants grass, and still at 33% on the planted grass. Let's fast forward again and get into early summer. Yeah. And we have, right before our eyes, we've seen grass growth. We now have full grass growth on our Giants grass. We're at 100%. And we have 67% grass growth on our planted grass. So our planted any grass you plant the first day of spring, or as soon as you start the map, is basically going to be one seasonal transition behind map grass. See, we're back to 67% here on our Giants grass that we mowed for our demonstrational purposes. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, for the sake of having a lot of grass to mow, we're going to advance through until the next growth stage to get 100% growth on all of our grass. And for planted grass, that's going to be a lot later than you think. You're basically going to get one full growth cutting off of your planted grass per year. Or not per year, for the first year. You can get 2 full growth cuttings off of map grass. Go. So what we're going to do is we are going to, let's just check our Wopstr. Feel a little more. We're at 100% growth, 100% fertilized. So let us jump in this mower. And we're going to get him hired off. And we're just going to hire him out to get to mowing. Okay, so we're going to let them mow. And what we've got is, go ahead and take this back over here. We're going to do a little windrowing. We're going to do a little grass baling. We're going to ted some. We're going to bale some hay and just demonstrate some various things. I know this is a fairly wide windrower, but we're just going to use it for this purpose. Something else to know is that the grass that is windrowed will deteriorate over time if you don't bale it. Okay? So if you, let's say you mow a whole bunch of grass and you don't do anything with it, you leave it sit on the ground for half of a game day, you're going to lose some volume of grass sitting in the field. Okay? If you windrow it and don't pick it up, you will lose some level of volume before you can bale it. If you are going to wrap your hay bales or your grass bales into silage bales, let's say you mow this whole field with a, let's just say you used a front mower for some reason. So let's say you mow the whole field with the front mower, the Lily front mower that this thing has on it. Then you come back and bale up the whole field, or you come back and windrow the whole field with the little 2-windrower. And then you come in with the baler and you bale it. And then you come back with the wrapper to wrap it. Okay? That's going to take you quite a long time to do all of that work. Well, while you're doing all of that other stuff, the grass on the field here is deteriorating. It's withering, it's rotting, it's going away. The grass bales that you bale are slowly losing volume as you are continuing to bale the field. As you come back to wrap those bales, the bales you wrap at the end of the field are going to have less volume than the 4,000 liters that they started out at. So when you're working with grass, time is of the essence. It is increasingly critically important that you try to work with grass as fast as possible. That means using multiple hired helpers to mow, and then you do the windrowing, and you use a follow me course to then have the baler behind you. You use the combo baler wrapper is the best way to get that accomplished. We're going to leave that there for a while. We're going to let him get caught up a little bit. We're going to make a pass with our baler. And we're going to bale up some grass. Should get a fairly decent output out of this windrow, since we have fully fertilized planted grass. Really wide windrow. That's 2 bales, 3 bales, 4, 5, 6. Not going to pick up that windrow. I'm going to use that for different purposes. Alright, well, we've got several bales there. We're going to come through, we're going to pick up a few, and we're going to stash over in that shed there. And we're going to leave a few out. Because we're also going to demonstrate the effects of rain on grass and hay and straw bales. Now we didn't plant any wheat. We're not harvesting any wheat. We're not putting any straw down. But just know that straw bales are the same with respect to grass or hay bales. So grass is the only commodity that will rot no matter what. Okay? In a season's prepared map, if you have your hay or straw and you put it under a roof, then your bales will not rot if it rains because they are dry. If you have, though, hay or straw that is left outside and it gets rained on, you will lose some volume as a result of being rained on. We're going to just take these 6 bales and we're going to stick them over here under the roof. They stay, in theory, nice and dry. Yeah, I never tried to put these, I never tried to use this bale stacker under this shed. I assume that you can get under here. Yep, looks like you can. Alright, so I'm going to push these bales in just to make sure that they are under cover. Alright, there's no doubt that they are definitely undercover at this point. They're not going to be getting wet as a result of the rain because they are under the snow mask that is under that shed. Now, let's run over here and let's ted up a few. Let's do a couple passes of our tedder. Just like we have one windrow of grass that we're going to leave on the ground, we're going to leave one windrow of hay on the ground. We already know what happens if we leave a windrow or a, well, what the hay? Let's ted up some hay. We'll leave one pass unraked. Then we'll rake a pass. We will rake 2 passes. One we will bale, and the other we'll leave on the ground. Okay, so we're just going to leave this pass as it is. Okay? Then we're going to come back and we're going to do a couple more passes, and we're going to windrow them. And we're going to bale one of those passes into hay bales. And we're going to leave a couple hay bales out, and we're going to put the other hay bales in the shed. So I'll be right back with you. Alright, so we've gotten our So we've got 2 windrows of hay. We've got 1 non-windrow area of hay just laying flat. And I went ahead and did 1 more windrow of grass because that windrow of grass was smaller. And I wanted something that was about fair in size to the... what? Oh. Why are you not picking up? Alright, so we're going to bale 1 pass of hay. We should get the same amount of volume we got out of the grass, which was, what, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 bales? Miss any? And we will leave them there. I think we got less. Out of that pass, but it's okay. Now we'll go pick these bales up and put them under cover. We're going to leave those other 2 bales exposed. And then what we're going to do is we're going to advance time. Oh, I forgot. I can't go all the way under that thing. Alright. It's less pretty, but they are definitely under cover. Alright. So let's go over here. And let's run up here and check out these grass bales. They were the first ones that we baled up. And see what the volume is. Using our handy dandy Wopstr. Says okay. So we can do it on a bale. Okay, so we have hay, 4,000 liters. Grass, 4,000 liters. Okay. Now just going to save. Okay, now let's advance time to tonight. Okay. So a whole day has passed. And our grass is now 3,925 liters. We didn't do anything. We just let the day go. Our hay is still at 4,000 liters. Okay, we still have our windrow. Still have our hay. Of our grass windrow and our grass that's been mowed. Okay, let's Alt N and see what happens here. Whoa. See, we've lost a fair bit. Well, we lost some of our grass that was down on the ground. It's definitely less. Pretty sure we've lost some of our windrow of hay over grass. Let's go check out our bales. So our hay bale is 4,000 liters. But our grass bale has deteriorated down to 3,413 liters. Okay? Now let's look at the forecast. There's rain in the forecast for tomorrow. But I'm going to bring the rain now. Okay? And let's speed up time a little bit. Oh, it's raining. Let's check this. Okay, that's still at 4,000 liters. Now we're down to 2721. Now we'll let the we'll advance through the rain. Okay, the rain is over. We lost some hay. We're down to 3,800 liters of hay on that bale. We're down to 2542 on that grass bale. And now let's look at our... Okay, we've lost some of our windrow of hay. This hay is basically all but non-existent now. Lost some of that grass. And we've lost some volume on the mowed grass here. Let's go over here and check out the bales under roof. What we should find is our hay bales are still at 4,000 liters, but we're going to find our grass bales are going to be below that. So our hay is still 4,000 liters, but our grass, alas, is at 2542. Speed up through time again. Alt in. Okay. Still 4,000 liters. Grass bale's down to 1,900 liters, and all we did was have time pass. Grass on the field here is all but non-existent at this point. It's really deteriorating away. As is our hay windrow. Remember, this had 5 windrows into one windrow. So every day is 1 windrow's worth. So we've got 5 layers to get rid of. So our hay bale, it's not deteriorated much more after the rain. These, on the other hand, they are not doing so hot. So let's speed up time through again. Oh no, raining again. This will only add to the woes of our bales. We wait for seasons to basically catch up. That's what we're doing here, is we're waiting for all kinds of... Where did our grass bales go? Okay, our grass bales have now disappeared. That windrow is still there, but it's pretty well gone. Our hay that we've left out through 2 rains is now down to 3,300 liters. Okay. The windrowed hay that's been left out for several days and 2 rains is dwindling to near nothingness. There's the grass windrow. Again, this is like 5 windrows. This is the best case scenario as far as the volume per windrow. And these windrows are non-existent. You might be able to get a little bit out of this, but it's pretty much non-existent. And there goes the hay grass bales. They're all gone. They've deteriorated away. They've rotted. There's nothing that we can do with them. Meanwhile, our hay bales that are inside are still at a nice 4,000 liters. So guys, there you go. Grasswork. Why do you want to, why baling grass is a bad idea? Well, as you can see, as time passes, grass bales slowly dwindle away to nothing. If you put them under cover, it doesn't matter. They will disappear. If you ted them into hay, then you're good to go as long as you put them under cover. We leave these bales out here long enough, they will rot away after they go through enough rain cycles, or if we have snow that sits on them, they will eventually rot away into nothing as well. It will just take them a bit longer to do that. And as you can see, our grass is, our hay is pretty much down to near nothing at this point. So when working with grass, it's best to do as much work as you can, as fast as you can, to maximize your grass output. If you bale up grass bales, get them wrapped as soon as possible to stop the rotting. Once they are wrapped, they will no longer deteriorate. Get them under cover as soon as you can. It starts raining, well then you're going to lose a little bit of volume, but you're not going to lose too much as long as you get them under cover before it goes and rains again. But grass bales themselves, don't do it. It's a bad idea. It's a waste of time because you're going to lose them. I hope that was useful and helpful. And next time we'll come back, we'll talk a bit more about rain and weather in general. Until next time, happy farming.